High school football, you just never know what you're going to get. Once he tucks it in, it's all about quickness, moves, and speed.
Malcolm Crispin, like he was shot out of a cannon.
Once he breaks the line of scrimmage, you got problems defensively.
Now it's Keyshawn over the right side, showing off his speed.
Harris has had the game of his life here. Give the freshman all the credit in that one, Pat.
They got their money's worth here tonight. What a game here at White Stadium. Hello, Boston, and welcome to Daly Field in Brighton as we bring you a matchup of two 1-0 teams in the Boston North Division. As tonight, the East Boston Jets take on the Brighton Bengals. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. And Alan, we have two 1-0 teams here in the Boston North, the East Boston Jets and the Brighton Bengals, two teams that sort of had opposite spring seasons or fall two seasons that we've been talking about this whole time. But because of their playing styles, this is going to be an interesting matchup here tonight.
Oh, no doubt. Every year, Pat, we hear coaches all over the city talking about getting off to a good start.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, as you mentioned, a little unusual situation because a lot of these players and coaches, they were involved with football only a couple months ago.
That's right.
But they're both 1-0. They got their first game wins under their belts. Brighton, very impressive win, running up 36 points against O'Brien. We had a chance to do last week's game for East Boston as they were able to win over Boston Latin. So game two, very important on both sides, but mainly for the players emotionally because they obviously feel great being 1-0, but everyone wants to be 2-0 because then you feel like you're really off and running.
No question. And when you can do it against a division opponent, that's certainly a huge win as well. First, we're going to talk about the Brighton Bengals specifically. And one player that was outstanding last week for the Bengals was Jathan Green. He had 3 total touchdowns last week, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air.
Well, when you have good speed, you can catch the ball, you can run from scrimmage. Jathan pretty much can do it all. So we'll be looking for him. East Boston, with their varying defenses, are definitely going to key on him. Might even have someone solely to watch him on every play from scrimmage, but clearly he's very explosive.
Without question, and he had a really good season actually in the fall too as well. He had 11 total touchdowns, and he was actually selected to the Boston City League All-Star team for the fall 2 season. So he's just carrying over that good fall 2 season over to now his senior fall 2021 season. So he's going to be very much a featured player for this Brighton team throughout the game. Meanwhile, on the other side for the East Boston Jets, we saw a whole stable of running backs play very well last week for East Boston, but really it was Randy Bermudez who really had some of the biggest plays of the game. He's our spotlight player tonight.
Oh, definitely. Randy has good speed, good toughness, and strength. As a matter of fact, he had probably the most important touchdown in that game against Boston Latin. He was able to break a good one and use that speed to get outside. So you mentioned Bermudez. Actually, he'll be in a different number because last you see him right there in 20. He has number 5 today. So Bermudez will be one of the many of the running backs we see for East Boston, as they like to run 5 and 6 in and out.
That's right.
Keep defenses confused, and Bermudez is one of the better ones they have.
No question. Over 100 rushing yards last week and a touchdown. Despite his small size, still a very good running back and can run on the inside for the Jets as well. Now for more in this game, we'll go down to our sideline reporter, Jesse Sheehan. Jesse?
Well, Pat, you talked about Randy Bermudez and the important role that he's going to play in the East Boston backfield. Another important role he's going to have today is in the return game. Of course, last year when these two teams faced off, it was a close, down-to-the-wire, 20-12 win for East Boston, catalyzed in no small part by 2 big returns from John Festa, a big kick return to set up a touchdown, and a 68-yard punt return touchdown. So you know how important special teams can be between these two teams. I talked to Coach John, to the East Boston coach. He said that he's going to be looking at Bermudez as well as Joshua Dela Cruz in the return game. Dela Cruz, of course, the senior running back who got that big 59-yard touchdown run against Boston Latin last week. So we know when he gets the holes, he can make those explosive plays. Who knows? Maybe he'll have another explosive play for us today in a different phase of the game. Pat, back to you.
Jesse, thanks so much. And really, like he mentioned, too, the East Boston Jets, they rely so much on that stable of running backs that are also, returners and make all the different plays for the Jets in the game.
A lot of versatility. I mean, East Boston for the past number of years has always made sure they had at least 5 or 6 different running backs ready to play at the varsity level. This year is no different.
We are just about set to go here at Daly Field. It's the Brighton Bengals taking on the East Boston Jets. Brighton doing the kicking duties there in the all-black uniforms, orange trim. Meanwhile, the East Boston Jets in the away white uniforms, blue pants, and yellow trim. East Boston won the toss. They elected to receive. And we are set to go here at beautiful Daly Field here in what turned out to be a decent night here in Brighton.
It's actually nice. It's a player's dream because there's a little bit of moisture on the artificial turf, so that takes away some of those skin burns.
Sort of a squib kick that time that bounced up in the air for Brighton. Solid return and decent field position there for the East Boston Jets.
Interesting. Jathan Green was in that tackle. We talked about him being the big runner, but he's on special teams too.
Here are the starters for the East Boston Jets. That's Thompson at the quarterback. Kincaid, the big bulldozing runner, in at running back / fullback. Martinez, Bermudez, and De La Cruz will be moved all around the field as running backs and wing backs and even receivers here for East Boston.
Okay. The officials are... Well, actually, they're saying that the returner stepped out of bounds, so they're repositioning the football. But like you said, East Boston wants to get that ground game going before anything else.
That was Michael O'Neill on the return. He got it to the 35-yard line, so it's 1st and 10 from the East Boston 35. Taylor Thompson, the quarterback. On 1st down, they run it over the left side. That's Bermudez, finds the edge. Bermudez making his way up past the 40 to the 41-yard, makes that the 46-yard line for Randy Bermudez. 11-yard run there for the Jets.
Simple slant play, but this is how East Boston likes to start out. What's your favorite phrase? Ground and pound?
Ground and pound.
Love to get a first down on the ground on your first play of the game. Meanwhile, Brighton team is really hyped up being home. Big win last week, trying to make it 2-0.
Now on 1st down again, it's De La Cruz who's wrapped up in the backfield. Coming across there for the Brighton Bengals. Looked like that was David Long, number 51.
Yeah, Long's a junior defensive end. That time he was able to close down, get away from the tackle, and make that stop. Short gain. Almost negligible.
I don't think he gained anything on that play. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for the Jets. Alex Valencia split out for East Boston. Handoff up the middle that time. And that time it was Christian Martinez with the carry. He had nowhere to go with it either.
Well, the one time they went outside on that 1st down, they got something, but two chances in between the tackles. Basically get it. Well, this one gives them maybe a yard, or less than a yard. We saw Taylor Thompson last week as quarterback. He was actually a more effective runner than throwing the ball.
That's right. He had some nice runs that actually got called back because of a couple of
2
penalties.
touchdowns.
That's right. 3rd and 9 now for East Boston. And they got some early movement.
Wow. Both sides, too. So the linesman will have to talk about this to agree on who moved first. Okay, it's going to be offside on Brighton. Good to see that because you had the head linesman and the line judge, both of them threw flags, so they came together to make sure that the decision they made was up the right one. So that's a free 5 yards for.
Ooh, that probably should have been a false start.
It looked like it was actually a false start. You're right.
They gave it the offsides to, or Brighton was penalized for the offsides. So it's 3rd and 3 now for the East Boston Jets instead of 3rd and 8. Much more manageable now for Eastie. On 1st down, straight up the gut go the Jets. I couldn't tell if that was Taylor Thompson taking it himself.
Just kept that one, yeah.
Made his way past the 45 to the 40-yard line of Brighton. 9-yard pickup on the play and a first down again for the Jets.
Like we mentioned, Thompson had a really good running game last week, and he's as good a runner as a passer.
Ran right over the center. Elvis Escobar, who Coach Parziale mentioned, is one of their most experienced offensive linemen.
Yeah, timeout for East Boston. I think Coach Parziale either didn't like the formation or thought someone was in the wrong spot. Just underway, no score, but 9:21 to go, first quarter. Had a little bit of rain off and on today, but I really think it's helped the conditions out here for the players.
Yeah, we were thinking all day that it could be rain. That certainly makes our production a little bit more difficult, but it's held off. It stayed overcast, basically like this the entire day. So
like I said,
it's not supposed to rain the rest of the night.
Yeah, the field's in really good shape. Really good shape.
Yeah, Simmons University has shared this and partnered with Brighton on this, and they are the ones that actually put most of the money into this whole complex. You got the football field, you got a really nice softball field that they have high school games at, beautiful tennis courts, and the fact that Simmons and Brighton have such a good partnership and can share this is just huge for everybody. And we obviously want to thank Simmons every time we come here because they actually do a fantastic job here. They're always good to us too and helping us out with our setup as well. So 4 different runners on 4 rushes so far here in the first quarter for the East Boston Jets. On first down, the handoff over the left side this time to Bermudez, and he's wrapped up in the backfield.
That was the same slant play that they got to start the game with, and they did get a first down, but this time seems like a slight change on the defensive front of the Brighton Bengals.
Looks like Brandon Corbin Jr., the linebacker, came across to make the tackle. There's Taylor Thompson. He's 3-0 as a starter now for East Boston. Last year in the spring, he actually the Jets lost the first game he entered into, but didn't start that one. They're on first down, another handoff for the Jets, and once again, the Bengals doing a good job clogging up the middle.
Yeah, for some reason, the Bengals are really concentrating their front line between the offensive tackles of East Boston. I actually think back to last week, East Boston did get a lot of yardage out of against Boston Latin going between tackles. So sort of makes sense they're staying with what worked last week. Meanwhile, Brighton is really clogging that up pretty well.
Now it's Thompson over the right side looking for some running room. And after a couple of yards, he got wrapped up.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of that. See Thompson, that's a you got a run pass option with Thompson because of his ability to run. So got a 4th and 2 coming up. Very makeable play, and obviously, you don't want to punt on a short field like this. So give Thompson another chance to get this 4th and 2.
Oh, sorry.
Seeing the coming in for East Boston, their big back, Daniel Pedronia. Daniel had a couple of first down conversions last week.
Handoff up the gut again for the Jets.
That's Kincaid, yeah.
And they give it to the big fella, Kincaid.
Well, what they did, they brought in like Pedronia, he's over 200 pounds. Kincaid is also over 200 pounds, so like that bull backfield.
That's right, monster backfield. Right. Kincaid had a big game as well last week. Yeah, picked up a lot of first downs for the Jets.
He was our outstanding player for the game.
That's right.
With a lot of inside work, like you said.
Typical East Boston drive. A lot of runs.
Kill time.
Could be 1 yard, 7 yards. Yeah. This is exactly what they want to do. Another first down for the Jets. Didn't quite see who had the football this time. It's De La Cruz who finds a seam, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Well, Jesse mentioned that he could be the one that could make another big play for this East Boston team, and De La Cruz finds daylight and finds a score there for East Boston.
A little misdirection. Play started with a fake to the left, handoff to De La Cruz, and some nifty running for the touchdown. Again, see at Brighton, I think Brighton was overcommitted to the middle of the field. Left that sideline area in the right side open up for De La Cruz. And good job with Thompson following through with the fake to Brighton, thinking the ball's coming to the right side. Meanwhile, De La Cruz is going left. 2-point conversion.
Now on the 2-pointer, Thompson keeps it himself and finds room up the middle to tack on 2 more for the East Boston Jets. So a nice drive for East Boston, 65 yards. They march down the field. It's capped off by a De La Cruz touchdown. 5 minutes and 44-second drive for the East Boston Jets.
And to them, that's quick. Because remember last week,
that's right.
Both Latin and East Boston only had 1 possession in the entire first quarter.
That's right. I think they each had, 6 or 7 minute drive.
6 or 7 minutes each, right.
But East Boston doing what they want to do there in that first possession. And it was capped off by the De La Cruz touchdown run. Here's another look at it.
He breaks 1 tackle. That was an arm tackle. It wasn't going to bring him down. Then just uses his speed. I don't know. He might be just deceivingly fast because he's not considered an out-and-out sprinter, but on the football field, he has what they call really good football speed.
That's right. Sort of, smooth, long strider there for the Jets.
Right.
So East Boston breaks the scoreboard first. They're on top 8-0 here with 6:12 left to go in the first quarter.
And their patented squib kick with using no tee and the flat football, hoping for a possible recovery.
Brighton looking to answer that touchdown march by the Jets. Fielded by Corbin Jr. and then brought up to about the 44-yard line.
Good job by Corbin Jr. to catch that in the air.
I think it was a line drive.
I was going to say, it makes all the difference in the world. That's a tough one, too, because the ball's still spinning, too.
Starters for Brighton, that's Samir Morales, the junior quarterback. Jathan Green, who we talked about. Isaiah Joseph, also an outstanding running back for Brighton. We'll see a lot of him today. Corbin Jr. lines up as a fullback. He'll get some carries as well. And then they love this freshman wide receiver, Yariel Ortiz.
Brighton anxious to get their offense on the field.
Green, the man in motion. They fake the pitch to Green up the middle for Brighton and still on his feet. Couldn't quite see who got the handoff there, but he made his way past midfield inside Eastie territory. I believe that is Corbin.
Yeah. Simple handoff, but Corbin just keeps those legs churning. Broke a tackle at the line and going to carry a couple of those defensive backs.
And mark them down at the East Boston 48-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 3 now for the Brighton Bengals. You see Jathan Green is the running back in the backfield. Now
keeper.
On 2nd down.
Yeah. Quarterback keeper.
And Morales takes it himself. Oh, it was Jathan Green with the carry, I think.
It was Green? Okay. You talked about Morales in the open. Good size, 6'3", 170. Oh, nice job on the fake and then the handoff. Both teams actually use play fakes a lot. Try to get the defense to commit to one side and then go opposite.
First and 10 now for the Bengals. Morales rolling to his right. Nice adjustment there by Ortiz as he hauls in the pass right around the 21-yard line. And then you see the freshman coming down with the football.
Good hands. I thought it was overthrown. It was coming right toward us. I really thought it was overthrown. But Morales went up in the air.
25-yard connection from Morales to Yariel Ortiz. First down for the Bengals, now at the East Boston 21-yard line. Handoff up the middle again. That's Corbin Jr. again. As he powers his way forward. So hard to bring down. He's right on the sticks. Could be close to another first down for Brighton.
Yeah, we had two little pileups there. He left one pile behind him, getting another 4 yards.
They mark him down at the 12-yard line. It's going to be about a yard short.
Again, good power running. Even when he got turned around, he was able to scoot out of that.
2nd and 1 now for Brighton. Offsides, or encroachment rather, on the East Boston Jets. And that's going to give Brighton a first down inside the 10-yard line.
A little over anxious.
Mike Portillo, the big fella, coming across there for the Jets. So,
yeah, Portillo is one of those guys who plays both ways. Plays the important left tackle position on offense, and then on defense, tries to clog up the middle.
And now he's coming out because of that penalty.
To get yelled at, yeah.
Now on first down and first and goal rather for Brighton, it's, excuse me, that's Isaiah Joseph.
Isaiah.
With the run inside, past the 5-yard line up to the 4 for Brighton.
Actually, Brighton's doing a lot of similar offense from East Boston. We're seeing 3 or 4 of their running backs switching up.
Here's another look at that play as you see Joseph. Probably should have gotten wrapped up in the backfield, but just strong, making his way through the line. 2nd and goal now for the Brighton Bengals. Handoff again to Corbin. And this time Corbin is stopped right in his tracks.
Chris Frazier.
Senior lineman coming across to make the tackle.
Corbin, straight handoff, and you'll see Frazier, middle of your screen, number 50. Makes the wrap up.
Third and goal now for Brighton from the 4-yard line. Morales to the right, finds Green for the touchdown. Jathan Green with the touchdown catch.
Good throw and good catch. You talked about Morales on the run. He threw that. He led his receiver so that only he would get the ball. Defender, decent coverage, just couldn't get his arm in front to knock it away.
Yeah, I don't think you could throw that one any better as he finds Green for the touchdown. Bengals now looking for the 2-point conversion to tie it up here in the first quarter. They run it to Green, the sweep over the left side, and Green finds the end zone. And Brighton ties it up at 8, and now we got a flag late. We'll see who that's on. That could be taunting or one of those after-the-play type of penalties.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they ran to the left.
Yeah, I think you're right.
To get the 2-point conversion.
That was a 9-play, 55-yard touchdown drive for the Bengals. We'll see what the call is once they sort it out. Only took 3 minutes and 37 seconds for the Bengals to march 55 yards. It's a little bit quicker than the Jets' opening touchdown drive.
Oh, personal foul on East Boston. Wow. Like you said, it was after the play, so maybe somebody had a unnecessary push or said something. That's possible. They couldn't see anything in that angle, but it's definitely after the play. Because the 2-point conversion was already scored. But again, at any point on the field, they can throw a flag.
Yes, the Bengals will now have to kick from the.
They'll throw. Let me see. They're going to bring it up.
We're going to give them the 45-yard line to kick it, so that it's more difficult for the Jets.
Bengals will probably try to pin them back on this because normally the return guys for the Jets would be up toward the 20-yard line. Now they're back to the 10.
We saw Brighton with a very short kick their first time around on the kickoff. We'll see if they go with a deeper kick. That's Morales performing the kicking duties for the Bengals.
Yeah, good all-around athlete. Yeah.
Squib kick. Bermudez has a tough time fielding it, picks it up at the 11-yard line. Bermudez dropped at the 13. Heck of a tackle that time.
Wes Jimenez came in first and then got some help from his teammate, Mr. David King Jr. Watched a little trouble picking the ball up, but after that, tried to get to the sideline, but Jimenez, good job on special teams.
See if we can get another look at that hit.
Yeah. Left of your screen, watch Jimenez come in. Boom. Yeah, King was there too. He was actually there a little earlier.
He's the one who wrapped him up, and then, like you said, it was Jimenez who finished him off. So Jets now with more difficult field position at their own 14-yard line with about 2:18 left to go here in the first quarter. Last time the Jets had a 9-play, 65-yard touchdown drive. All on the ground. First down, it's De La Cruz over the right side. De La Cruz looking for the edge. Wrapped up right around the first down marker. Another nice run there for De La Cruz. I think he's got the first down at the 24.
Yeah, you saw East Boston go into a wing formation, which usually means a possible reverse. But it was a straight handoff to De La Cruz, and he's, like you said, once he gets some open field, he's a tricky runner. I think Brighton wants a timeout here.
So Mark De La Cruz down at the 24. There's an 11-yard gain there for him. First down for the Jets. Like you mentioned, Brighton takes a timeout here with 2:04 left to go in the first quarter. And it seems like anytime they give it to De La Cruz and he finds his way to the outside, something good happens for the Jets. Something bad happens for the Bengals.
Well, I think the Bengals, that I mentioned earlier in the first drive through East Boston, it looked like the Bengals were really leaning toward taking away the middle of the field between the two offensive tackles. But now, with the success De La Cruz has had, you've got to spread out a little more. Give your defensive players, especially the linebackers, give them better angles to turn him back inside, because he's done all his damage going outside, hitting that sideline. We got two good offensive teams here.
That's right.
This could be.
Both teams have really good running backs.
Could be a good shootout on the ground.
Both coaches are also just very happy with their offensive linemen at this point in the season, too.
Definitely.
So when you have two offensive lines who are executing the way these two teams' lines are, you know you're going to be able to gain some yardage on the ground. One player who Brighton wants to rely on to force run plays inside is their defensive end, Malik Lee. Number 4, he's a senior for the Bengals. Now on first down, they give it to Bermudez. Bermudez with some running room. Past the 35.
More of the same. I mean, it's tough from the coach when you call a timeout to make a change, and then the exact same thing happens again.
You see the look at it. Bermudez does a nice job bouncing to the outside. Picks up a couple of tough yards at the end of the play. Bermudez now with 35 yards and just 3 carries so far.
Well, you know what East Boston's waiting for. They're waiting for Brighton to spread the defense out. They'll come right back up the middle again.
Another first down for the Jets. They hand off to Bermudez again. Bermudez now over the left side, and Brighton does a good job corralling the Jets running back. That's the freshman, Yariel Ortiz, coming across.
Oh, another late flag. This one from the line judge. Seems like there's a lot of talking going on up there. You see protecting the football, and as he's wrestled to the ground, there might have been something said. Yeah, I think, yeah, it seemed like whatever was said was heard by the linesman, and give the flag. So now both teams have had a totally unnecessary personal foul penalty. And see, from the coach's standpoint, they're saying this is yardage. We're just giving away. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Ortiz kind of clap in the face of Bermudez, but that shouldn't warrant a penalty.
But if it goes along with saying something,
right?
then
if it's
that's
part of the sequence,
yeah, exactly. That's the double whammy.
That's right. So the Jets now in Brighton territory after the penalty. They're at the Brighton 47-yard line. First down for East Boston. They hand off to the big fella, Kincaid, up the middle. And Kincaid carries the pile past the. Did Kincaid lose the football?
Yeah, ball came out, but
De La Cruz was able to jump on it.
Yeah, his forward progress may have been stopped.
Here's another look at it.
Kincaid, we saw a lot of him last week.
He's in that rugby scrum right there. Yeah, he did lose the football. Couldn't tell if his knee was down. 2nd and 1 now for the Jets. And it was Taylor Thompson who got wrapped up in the backfield. He actually slipped.
His footing, he was trying to cut back in. Unfortunately for him, got placed down for a loss.
And that is going to do it for the first quarter here at Daly Field. It's the Brighton Bengals and the East Boston Jets tied up at 8. Thanks to a Jathan Green touchdown catch. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the second quarter here on Game of the Week, right after these words.
Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to Daly Field in Brighton for a matchup of two Boston North rivals as the East Boston Jets are taking on the Brighton Bengals. It's tied up at 8 apiece. And we're just about ready to start the second quarter here at Daly Field. And East Boston is going to be faced with a 2nd and 7.
I think when we looked at this game on the schedule, probably figured it might be a game like this, sort of grind it out, and no matter of who can make changes on defense, because they both have excellent offenses with, like you said, a bunch of running backs. Both teams have at least 5 running backs, which for high school football is pretty unusual.
Yeah, no question. It looks like right now we have a 2nd and 3 for the East Boston Jets. We have 3rd and 3 on a scoreboard. Now they've changed it on the field. Okay. Just waiting for that that down marker.
Thompson, like you said, lost his footing on that last play before the end of the quarter.
Now on 3rd down. Couldn't quite see who got the carry that time. Looked like Bermudez with the carry.
That number 5's throwing me off, too.
Right?
Yeah, well, it's funny because once I guess the NFL allowed players to change to the single numbers, it's filtered down to college and high school.
Yeah, so the replay on Bermudez. Yeah, for a smaller guy, he runs well between the tackles.
He does.
5-yard pickup there for Bermudez. First down for the Jets. East Boston now at the Brighton 34-yard line. If anybody checked out the Boston Globe today, the Globe actually picks, what are the best games to watch in high school football throughout the state, and this was one of them. East Boston and Brighton, 2-1-0 teams, 2 of the top teams in the City League.
Good matchup.
Now on first down, it's De La Cruz trying to find the edge. De La Cruz. Ortiz is there, wrapped up. Corbin Jr. also coming across, so De La Cruz picks up a couple, but he's marked down at the 30-yard line.
Well, you gotta like the way this was closed down. Watch, looked like he had some room to the outside. But one of the defensive backs comes up to take away the sideline. Gabriel Ortiz.
Second down and 6 now for the
Look
Jets.
at Kincaid.
And Kincaid just like a bowling ball running over
Wow.
people to get the first down.
You see straight up the middle. Very basic football, but Kincaid just keeps those knees pumping. It's funny, I noticed on the on the roster last week he was 210 in the weight.
That's
now
right.
he's 220. And we joked about how he looks bigger than 210.
That's right, yeah. He looks bigger than 220.
Because our father and grandfather came down to us at halftime.
That's right. First down for the Jets now from the 21-yard line. It's Kincaid again.
More Kincaid. Wow.
Swiftly makes his way past the 15 up to the 13-yard line. Make that the 14, excuse me.
I tell you, this is very, very simple football, but when it works like this, no reason to change.
You know what? That's what the East Boston Jets do. This is tailor-made East Boston football.
When they don't have to think about throwing the football, they love it.
Daniel Pedronio now in for East Boston. So you got that monster
That's what
backfield
I'm saying.
again with
You got
Pedronio and
two,
Kincaid.
yeah, you got two big backs, well over 200 pounds each.
And we got some early movement as they tried to hand off to Bermudez.
It's a tough break because they had some momentum going. It's going to be a procedure penalty, which will knock them back 5 yards.
So the Jets are now backed up to the 18-yard line. It'll be second down and 7 now for East Boston.
But again, they've got to be happy that their ground game is working so well because they've mixed their plays up, mixed up the different backs coming in. Like you said, they use the big lineup sometime with the backfield. Other times they use the quicker guys.
Second down and 7 now for the East Boston Jets. And they are wrapped up in the backfield once
smelled
again.
that one out. Yep. Yeah, Brighton did a good job coming across. As soon as the handoff is made, the contact coming across.
So right now, the yard marker, or the down marker says second down. They actually had first down on the last play. It should be third down.
Should be third, yeah.
And Randolph Abraham is screaming at the referees. We'll see if
Well,
they
it's third on
correct
the
it.
scoreboard, but somehow the
Second on the marker.
Yeah.
You got to go by the marker. Second down now for East Boston.
Kincaid. Not surprisingly. That's going to be another fight after the whistle penalty. Yeah, I think this is going to go against East Boston. There's a late block.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness,
Yeah.
52 on the offense, 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, it was after the play was dead. Darren Edward. You know, it would be behind the play. Yes, it's out of the screen. Yeah, they had to get to the 11-yard line for first down, but now they're kicked all the way back to what, the 29?
That's
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
So still have to get to the 11, but now they're working from the 29.
That's a killer penalty there. Yeah.
And now the marker says third down.
Yeah,
So
this
it's
is
third.
this is the first real passing situation they faced.
That's right. It's about third and 19, I'd say, for the Jets. Got a man in motion, and you know, these are some of the situations that the Jets kind of aren't comfortable with because they don't run a lot.
They're
of
not
pass
used to
plays.
it. Exactly. Then that's I think it was actually Kincaid who actually moved a little bit because the guy in motion seemed like he was all right, but there was some other movement. So they're really shooting themselves in the foot. East Boston with these. This is now 20 yards and penalties in the last two plays.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the debate's about. It had to be on East Boston. It was a pre-snap penalty.
Neutral zone infraction on
Wow.
the defense.
Oh, well,
penalty.
somebody must have lined up incorrectly. Yeah. It doesn't seem like he went over the he may have lined up.
Well, these new federation rules too. It's now I think we're now in sort of year 2. Should have been year 3, but sort of year 2 of the federation rules, and it's still unclear on some of these. So now it's a 3rd and about, I'd say 14 for East Boston. They give it to De La Cruz, and the Bengals snuff it right out.
Direct handoff to the motion man. And
it's Michael Menendez.
Like you said, Pat, Menendez came across, and not sure if he was expecting it, but there's the little flip, and
he's right
Menendez,
there.
Yeah, good tackle.
So Malik Lee, the defensive end, also ready there for the tackle as well. So it'll be 4th and 22, it looks like, for the East Boston Jets. Right now they're at the 33-yard line. They get it to the 11 for a first down.
I mean, he's sort of in no man's land. It's like it's sort of a waste to try to punch it because he'll most definitely go into the end zone.
That's right. Drive started on the Jets' 14-yard line. They're all the way down in Brighton territory, but a big first down yardage that they have to pick up. It's Taylor Thompson trying to tuck it in and run, wrapping him up for the Brighton Bengals was Damian Blacknall. So Blacknall comes up with the tackle.
You see, looking for a pass downfield, nothing there. Has some running room. Like you said, good job by Damian to wrap him up.
So it'll be a turnover on downs. The Bengals will take over at the their own 24-yard line.
I think they had a safe pass call across the ball. Actually slipped out of his hands, so he might not have felt comfortable trying to pass that. So Bengals in pretty good shape for their offensive set.
6:03 left to go here in the second quarter. Brighton now takes over at their own 24-yard line. Early movement there on East Boston. And it's Jathan Green with a carry inside. Green finds some space, still on his feet, past the 35-yard line. And they mark him down right around the 37.
For East Boston, linebacker Christian Martinez limping off the field. Something happened with that left leg of his.
That's not good for the Jets. He's one of their best defensive players. There's another look at it before the next play.
Oh, yeah.
A little face mask there, too. Now on first down again for Brighton. Another tough run there for the Bengals.
There's a lot of hitting going on after the whistle.
Isaiah Joseph with the carry.
Yeah, watch Joseph following his offensive lineman.
Eight-yard pickup there for Joseph. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Brighton Bengals. Coach Abraham talked about how good Isaiah Joseph's vision is running the football.
It makes a huge difference. That's what you can do when you have so many running backs. Even your featured back coming into a game, you can use him as a decoy for a while. Let the other guys get some run, and then you go back to him as the main person.
It's Morales rolling to his left, trying to get the football off. He just threw it away.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There was good pursuit. East Boston sort of smelled that out. Actually, it was Joshua De La Cruz who forced Morales out, give him no room to throw it, so he just threw it away to prevent a loss. You get the feeling neither team really wants to throw the ball. They just want to keep it really simple on the ground.
Well, during the spring or fall 2 season, Brighton ran this wing T basically the whole time. They didn't barely through just because of the personnel. They were limited, didn't have a lot of experience. Now they're slowly phasing in their passing game. It's just week 2 right now in the fall season. And they see Morales getting wrapped up in the backfield.
It's interesting what's happening here. I mean, we saw both teams have very impressive offense in that first quarter. Both teams scored 8 points. But here in the second quarter, defense is sort of taking over. He had no chance on that.
Yeah, that was Chris Frazier again making the tackle.
So 4th and 9, this should be punt formation for Brighton.
Gabriel Silva also coming in to make the tackle there for the Jets.
The timeout, yeah, for some reason there was some little confusion. I'm not sure if they had enough players out there.
3:54 left to go here in the second quarter. Bengals faced with a 4th and 9. They're probably going to have to punt the football.
I'll tell you,
tied up at 8.
Yeah, 8-8. We thought, since both teams scored in their very first drives, we thought it was going to be a bit of a shootout. But you never know.
That's right. That
It
certainly
can
hasn't been the
always
case
change.
here in the second quarter. Our sideline reporter, Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, has an update for us. Jesse, what's happening?
Pat, a few plays ago, we saw East Boston's number 4, Christian Martinez. He went down, he kind of limped off the field. Once he got to the sideline, he was writhing in pain. He looked seriously hurt, seemed to be grabbing his left leg. The trainers are looking at him right now, and certainly just from a humanitarian standpoint, we all hope he's okay, and certainly East Boston hopes he's okay. He's a big part of their team, both sides, as a linebacker and as a back. Pat, back to you.
Jesse, thanks so much. Absolutely. Christian Martinez, very important part of their defense. And then offensively, they certainly mix him in with the other 3 running backs as well. So
I agree with you. I think he's more important on defense. The 5'8", 180-pound junior plays the linebacker spot. He's already been in on a number of tackles earlier in this game. So you're right. He'd be a huge loss.
we'll see if Christian can get back in at some point or if he's going to be out for the rest of the game. 4th and 9 now for the Bengals. They're going to have to punt the football. Morales back to kick. And back to receive is Taylor Thompson for the Jets. Morales kind of an end-over-end punt. Goes sky high, but that bounces backwards. Jets got to down it. That's going to be about a 3 or 4 yard punt there.
You, that's crazy. That it went so high, when it finally hit the turf, it bounded back the opposite way. I think some of the Bengals sort of fell asleep and didn't recognize that the ball was giving up yardage, so they should have grabbed it.
Folks, you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston. A lot of good stuff up on that site. You can like our Facebook page. You can see which games we're going to be covering over the next coming weeks. You can also follow us on Twitter, folks. You want to follow us on Twitter, you can go to Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, make sure you use the hashtag BostonGOW. 3:41 left to go here in the second quarter. East Boston and Brighton tied up at 8 apiece. Now both teams have made stops defensively, so the Jets now with excellent field position at the Brighton 46-yard line. Another tough run there from Bermudez. That was De La Cruz. My apologies.
Looked like he was going to get thrown for a loss in the backfield, but he ran out of the tackle. So watch it, you'll see from the right of your screen, they get him in the backfield, but Bermudez runs out of that. Makes some positive yards.
So De La Cruz with a short pickup there on first down. 2nd down and 7 now for the East Boston Jets.
On the Brighton sideline, we see Ariel Ortiz.
2nd down and 7 now for the Jets. Kincaid on the carry. Picks up a good chunk of yardage up to the 38-yard line.
It's like all of Kincaid's runs just straight up the middle. It's like he runs with his center. You know, it's not even out to the guard position, just straight up the middle.
It's like when they run that wishbone offense and the fullback is told just go right up the center. And that's every single one of his runs is like that.
Yeah, actually sometimes East Boston does line up in the wishbone. And that's, well, he seems to always give them a short yardage situation.
So So it's 3rd and about 2 now for
I got some movement.
East Boston.
I think Brighton just gave them a first down.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Resulting play is a first down.
A little over anxious. I mean, and you can't blame them. Either like you just said, both teams just had defensive stops. Brighton wants to, after the bad punt, wants to keep East Boston from scoring before halftime. A little bit of a mental mistake because you're over anxious.
So first down now for the Jets from the Brighton 33-yard line. A short carry there on first down. As that time it was Bermudez.
Yeah, I think we're seeing both teams defensively in the front 7 respond much better to these handoffs. On East Boston's scoring drive, a few times we saw Brighton players just out of position getting fooled with the handoff fakes, but now they're doing a much better job staying in their lanes.
It's De La Cruz again with the carry. De La Cruz finds some daylight. Brought it down at the 20-yard line. 10-yard pickup there for De La Cruz.
And what's just as important, they're winding the clock down with approaching the last minute before halftime.
.105 left to go here in the second quarter. First down for the East Boston Jets. And Coach Abraham wants a timeout for Brighton here. 1:01 left to go before halftime.
Yeah, it's almost like the coaches on the Brighton side are recognizing these formations and anticipating plays, wants to be able to alert his guys, watch out for the misdirection. We haven't really seen the double reverse yet, which East Boston likes to run.
That's right.
Because they have those quick backs to do it. I mean, East Boston, they've concentrated so much on Kincaid up the middle. It's always good to fake to him and try to go outside. And don't forget, Thompson, the quarterback, can keep the ball run himself.
That's right.
Very
this is
good
sort of
runner.
the territory last week against Boston Latin, where he was able to almost get some touchdowns.
I'd say that was one of the strangest sequences I've seen in years. He ran back-to-back plays for touchdowns, and both were called back.
And they were almost
on block on penalties.
It was
and the
almost
blocks
the
weren't
same
even
exact
needed.
play. That's right. They were behind him. Well, right now, the two top running backs for the Jets, Bermudez and De La Cruz, are at 98 combined rushing yards. So they'll be hitting the combined century mark probably on this drive. And then, of course, we've got Kincaid. He had over 70 yards last week and a rushing touchdown.
Well, if you ask Coach Prozzelli from East Boston, so what kind of half do you want? This is exactly what he would say. Other than the fact that Brighton scored, but 8-8, these are two good teams. But to have the ball last minute of the half at the opponent 20-yard line, I love that.
Now on first down from the 20-yard line for the Jets, they hand off to Kincaid. Kincaid bulldozes his way up to the 12.
A little bit of a hurry up now as they're approaching 50 seconds. Won't be a long huddle. Watch Kincaid. I formation again for East Boston.
Jets give it to Kincaid again.
Kincaid, touchdown. Wow.
Touchdown,
Woo.
East Boston.
You could see that coming because they had given them 2 carries to the right side, that one to the left, and finish the job.
Seven-play, 47-yard touchdown drive for the Jets. Only took 1:53 for the Jets to drive down this time and score.
Well, go back to that punt, Pat. Big difference. I mean, it ended up being, less than a 5-yard punt because it bounced back so much. You get great field position like that before the end of a half. You can use your running backs.
Jets now looking for the 2-point conversion. It's Thompson rolling to his right. He's got a receiver.
Nice pass.
finding Valencia for the 2-point conversion. Taylor Thompson says, see, I can throw the ball.
Well, I was just going to say, a little bit of a surprise to me because he hasn't really he had one attempt before, but which he pulled down and ran.
That's right.
That time, like you said, fall through the play. Valencia, nice little slant, already in the end zone, so all he had to do was catch it.
I think what you said a couple minutes ago, Alan, is exactly correct. You know, it's only a 1-touchdown, 2-point conversion game, but if you had to ask the two coaches who's playing the way they want to play, it's without question the East Boston Jets. This is their type of half here at Daly Field.
They bounced back well from when they lost the ball on downs the previous series. So again, I think the pep talk on the sideline might have just been, listen, we ran the ball like we want to in the first quarter. Let's just get back to that. We don't need to do anything different. A couple of bad penalties on both teams, which I know that Coach Abraham for Brighton is gonna hop on at halftime because penalties are always killers.
Jets now with 174 yards on the ground here in the first half.
Got an official timeout here. I'm sorry, East Boston timeout. Now remember, East Boston likes that squib kick.
Here's another look at the touchdown here from Kincaid.
Yeah, went to the left. That time didn't even have any contact, so he's not used to that, but he'll take the 6 points. Yeah, East Boston loves to with that squib kick. And in the past seasons, we've seen them get quick turnovers near the end of a quarter or end of a half. So I think that they're going to have their speed guys up there to try to run back. Brighton has to be very careful, make sure they cover this football. Or, like they did earlier, catch it in the air. Because it's going to, otherwise it's going to be spinning around.
We'll see if the Bengals can come up with something here on the return. Just 30 seconds left to go before halftime. That one more of a grounder for Brighton to field. Nice return here for the Bengals. Past midfield goes Brighton.
Good second, third effort.
We'll see if the Bengals will try to get something going. I think that was Corbin Jr. on the return. Yeah, it was Brandon Corbin Jr. He brought it back for Brighton. Here's another look at the kick.
Did a good job to corral it. Don't let it bounce in front of you. Ran through a couple of tackles right there, and yeah, you get Brighton gets a couple of 3 or 4 plays in.
21-yard return there for Brandon Corbin Jr. So the Bengals now with 23 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. See if they can come up with something here before halftime. Trailing by 8 to the East Boston Jets. Morales rolling to his right. Trying to find a receiver. He's got Jathan Green. Green spins off one tackler, picks up a first down, makes his way past the 40.
That'll stop the clock for the first down, but also...
Yeah, Coach Abraham just called a timeout, too.
Yeah, Abraham's going to call a timeout. He wants at least 2 more plays. No swing pass, but again, second effort and the yards after the catch.
14-yard pickup there, first down for the Bengals.
So giving themselves the best chance possible to tie the game at halftime, before halftime. See that crowd, but this crowd really filled up.
That's right.
I guess first people were afraid of the rain. Now they say, hey, listen, they're 1-0.
Yeah, let's head down to Daly Field. Well, a lot of people live in Brighton. This is pretty easy for them to get to, which is one of the reasons why the Bengals, you know, when they came here, I'll say 5 years ago, I think it was 2016, they first started playing here. You know, they were happy that people could, from the high school, could come down.
Oh, yeah, for a while.
Teachers could come down because they were playing at White Stadium.
I was going to
Boston
say,
English.
they felt like there was no home field.
That's right.
And so to have this and such a beautiful facility.
That's right.
That adds to that overall change. We talked about the Fall 2 season, how Brighton was one of the teams that was really hit by short numbers. Actually, with one situation having as low as 19 players. Now you see the sidelines filled up again. You get a lot of interest. think some of that was families concerned about
Sure.
COVID and exposing the kids to playing, and so luckily it's nice to see them bounce back.
The Bengals now with a first down inside the 40-yard line, right around the 37. Morales now rolling to his left, looking down the left sideline, and the ball falls incomplete. Like Ortiz was the intended receiver on that one. But
a little too much adrenaline on that one. And on that situation, I'm sure Morales is being told, listen, you've got to throw the ball quickly. Even if you don't have anything, to throw it away. We want a couple more plays.
Currently Morales 3 for 5 with 42 yards through the air. Of course, he's got that touchdown to Jathan Green, excuse me.
They got some speed in the wide receivers. It's just a matter of trying to get into. Looks like East Boston's playing a zone, so let's try to get into one of those seams.
Morales rolling to his right again, looking for a receiver down the sideline. It was deflected. And boy, Jathan Green looked like he was open down that right sideline. If Morales put just a little more on it, but Bermudez was there for the deflection.
And the reason why he couldn't get a little more on it, Pat, he was really being run down by Gabriel Silva. And Silva made him actually throw the ball off balance. Still threw a nice spiral.
Morales definitely has the arm. We've seen that throughout this first half.
Well, we talked about his size. He's a big kid, 6'3", about 170 pounds, junior. So, again, you got to give some credit, half of that defensive credit on that play to Silva.
And this time, Jathan Green is wrapped up in the backfield, so that is going to do it, I believe, for the first half here at Daly Field in Brighton, as the East Boston Jets are on top of the Brighton Bengals 16-8. And a pretty even first half until that last drive by East Boston.
Well, both teams definitely want to clean up the penalties, obviously. That's the most important thing. But I think that whatever changes they made, in-game changes defensively, worked for both sides. But then East Boston, like the last team with the ball, had the chance to score, and that's exactly what they did.
No question. You saw the Jets really play the way they wanted to play, grounded and pounded. There's no huge plays there from the Jets.
You don't need them.
There were a few 12-yarders and 10-yarders in there, but it was 6 yards, 7 yards, 3 yards, 10 yards.
You add it all up, 174 and a half.
Right.
That's amazing. It is. It really is. So I think the Brighton halftime discussion is going to first talk about defense. Like I said, I really do think they're going to spread those linebackers out, give them some better attack angles.
That's right.
All these running backs that East Boston's used to. Meanwhile, East Boston trying to keep that momentum going because they were able to capitalize on field position, which is always what coaches want to do.
No question. And we saw, how important special teams was in that first half, too. You saw the Brighton Bengals, go for that punt. Morales, he got it in the air well, but it just took a really tough bounce backwards and ended up being a net yardage of 6 or 7 yards.
Artificial turf will do that to you. And I think teams sometimes forget that because it definitely can be an advantage.
No question. So the East Boston Jets on top of the Bengals 16-8 here at the half, and the head coach of the East Boston Jets is down with our sideline reporter Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Jesse, take it away.
Pat, I'm here with East Boston head coach John Parziale. Coach, your team got a relatively short field at the end of the half, and they delivered with a scoring drive to take the lead 16-8. What did you think of your team's poise on that last drive?
We did well. The line's blocking great. The backs are running well, but Brighton can score in 2 seconds, as you can see. So we got a long way to go. There's a long way to go in this game.
Coach, Christian Martinez seemed to hurt his left ankle earlier in the quarter. Any updates on his status?
He's hurt. We're going to reevaluate at halftime here, see if we can get back into the game for the second half.
Coach, what do you want to see more of from your team in the second half when they come back out?
Well, we got to work on our pass defense and better tackling.
All right. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Pat.
Thanks so much, Jesse. And you saw Coach Parziale. First thing he talked about was how well the offensive line's blocking, and you can see it. I mean, East Boston usually has a really good offensive line. We've seen it a lot. They're usually big too. Not quite as big this year. A little bit smaller than Brighton, but that line has been getting a real good push up front.
Well, it's all about timing, working together, and because they feature so many running plays, the offensive line has plenty of time to practice and prepare and actually work as a synchronized unit. That's what we saw in both quarters, because they scored in the first quarter and the second quarter. So Coach Parziale wants more of the same. He does not want to have to put the ball in the air at all, and there's nothing wrong with that if you can stay ahead.
No question. So we'll see if the Jets can hang on to this lead in the second half, or will the Brighton Bengals come back? We know they have some explosive running backs and explosive offense and a quarterback who can throw the ball downfield. It's going to be an interesting second half. We're going to head to break, folks. When we come back, we'll have our halftime stats, maybe some halftime highlights, and then we'll have the start of the third quarter here on Game of the Week from Daly Field in Brighton right after these words. Don't go away.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother,
Yes.
you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe. Here we go, the butterfly. Ready? Ooh.
I am what hunger looks like in America. I am an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for the last day of school. Because this may be the last time I'll have lunch.
Till September.
I am a single father of 2 who works 3 part-time jobs, and that's still not enough to put food on the table. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Daly Field in Brighton at the half of Game of the Week as the East Boston Jets lead the home Brighton Bengals 16-8 here at halftime. And we're going to take a look at the halftime stats here from Daly Field. And first up, it's going to be the Brighton Bengals.
It's the Bengals. Morales, as we talked about, passing the junior quarterback, 3 for 6, 43 yards, and that touchdown for Brighton. That was in the first quarter. Rushing, Green with 24 yards, 18 for Corbin. And receiving, Green had 2 for 17 yards, and Ortiz had that one long catch for 25 yards.
Let's take a look at East Boston's halftime stats.
East Boston, Thompson again, not throwing much, had the 1 throw and 1 completion. Kincaid, meanwhile, 51 yards on 7 carries. All of that pretty much between tackles. Bermudez, nice nifty running, 53 yards on 6 carries. Valencia, in terms of the passing, caught the only completion for East Boston in that first half.
That's right. De La Cruz had that touchdown run to kick the scoring off for the East Boston Jets. We've got a couple of highlights from the first half as well.
Well, an interesting game because we knew coming in both teams had offense. There's the touchdown pass.
There's
Here comes East Boston with De La Cruz. I'll tell you, deceiving speed, really deceiving speed, because he looked like he was going to get caught. And here we have the second and third effort as get a first down, and that's the big fella, Kincaid, 220 pounds this week. The last play, you have a nice sack as, for whatever reason, the East Boston defense really, both defenses picked it up in the second quarter, but it seemed like East Boston, for some reason, did a much better job of covering up anytime Brighton tried to roll out for a passing situation.
That's right. The East Boston front 7 seems to be really playing well defensively. They've been getting some pressure on the outside against Morales each time he tries to roll out.
It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, like you mentioned, Morales started quarterbacking during the fall 2 season, so he hasn't really had an entire season under his belt yet.
That's right.
He's taken over. He is the guy, so we'll see how he can do in the second half.
Well, the Brighton Bengals will be receiving here on the kickoff, and you know Brighton wants to take this down the field and score as soon as possible.
They're anxious, definitely. Got a big crowd here, your home field. You're already 1-0, and both teams want to get off to that 2-0 start.
And we've talked about many times how East Boston, with their ball control offense, if Brighton doesn't score and gives it back to the Jets, they can have a clock-killing drive again and almost ice the game with another touchdown. Another squib kick there for Eastie. Bengals unable to field it, and it might have been the Jets who recovered the football.
They do.
They did.
That's exactly why they do that squib. And Brighton, they made The first receiver made the mistake of trying to just scoop it without cover. You could actually hear one of the Brighton coaches yelling across the field, cover it, cover it. Let's watch. You'll see there's that crazy squib, and you had the East Boston player,
Jason Rogers, diving for that loose ball. So the Jets recover the squib kick at the 27-yard line of the Brighton Bengals, and we thought the Jets had good field position after that
exactly
punt.
right. I was going to say this is the last thing in the world that Coach Abraham from Brighton thought would happen.
Now on first down for East Boston, it's De La Cruz trying to get to the outside, and he's wrapped up in the backfield. Coming across again is
that Corbin again?
I think it was Corbin. Yes, it was with the tackle.
So he showed some good arm strength on that. Watch, we've seen De La Cruz run out of a lot of tackles. This time he wasn't running out of anything. Been thrown for a loss.
So that backs the Jets up 5 yards. It's going to be second down and 15 now for East Boston at the 29-yard line. Handoff of the left side now to Bermudez, and he's got a little bit of space as Bermudez makes his way up to the 29-yard line.
Again, everything's on the ground. Run, and run some more. You see, like you said, you gets into the secondary. Made up for that loss on first down, and very manageable third and about 4.
Yeah, gain of about
2
10
down
on the
territory
play.
anyway. Yeah.
So third and 3 or 4. As we get the handoff here to Kincaid, he's right on the first down marker. We'll see if they give it to him.
Yeah,
I think they do.
First down.
So he made his way up to the 16. That's a first down for the Jets.
It's like when they bring in the other big back. There you see the handoff. Kincaid just making some contact, and that last dive got on that extra yardage. When they bring in the second big back, Daniel Pedronia, it's almost like, okay, we're telling you we're coming right at you, but they execute so well that they always get something out of it.
They try the reverse over the right side now. A nice cutback inside there
middle.
for the Jets.
Yeah. You're right, Pat. That was the key to the play. He cut right back to the middle. Injured like Brighton player. Wow, back in the backfield.
Pedronio there on the run. We got a Brighton player down with some type of leg injury.
Left leg of who was that?
Looks like Menendez.
Well,
who's had some nice plays defensively tonight for Brighton.
I was just going to say he's come across the line a few times to be involved with tackles for loss. Wow, it's yeah, he looks like they're definitely working on that left leg. I mean, we've had so many scrums and pileups that it's
kind of bound to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just to say, you don't want it to happen, but it's one of those things where it's got to.
As we wait for this injury update, folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston for the updates on what games we're going to be covering. We put links to when you can watch the games. You can watch them live on YouTube. You can watch them after the fact on YouTube. And you can also follow us on Twitter @BostonCityTV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Our silent reporter, Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan's got an update. Jesse, what's happening?
Pat, I talked to East Boston coach John Parziale before the game, and when talking about special teams, he said, we got to make sure not to make any mistakes because those mistakes on special teams can really screw us over. He's looking like a prophet right now. A bad bounce on a punt, and now a fumbled kick return. Brighton's special teams are proving kind of costly. Pat, back to you.
Thanks so much, Jesse, as Kincaid makes his way down to about the 2-yard line, maybe even 1.5-yard line. With another tough run, that's a first down for the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets will have first and goal inside the 2.
Let's put this in perspective now. We're talking about the big fullback in Kincaid. Like you mentioned, the first time in a while we're seeing a relatively smallish offensive line. So literally, you're talking about your fullback might be one of the biggest guys on the team.
That's right.
And he's getting these inside handoffs and just loving it. What we say, he had 51 yards at halftime. He's going to keep piling on to that total.
First and goal now from the 2-yard line for the Jets. And it's Thompson going to take it himself, and Thompson's in for a touchdown.
Safest play in football.
The quarterback keeper, and it's Thompson breaking the plane, so the Jets now on top 22-8.
So you see Thompson, we said he was a good runner. We found that out last week, and because Brighton they're trying to line up, waiting for another Kincaid rush. Thompson found a little bit of a seam. That's all you need to get into their touchdown.
Jets now on the 2-point conversion. It's Thompson again, and he takes it in.
I tell you, he had a one-on-one with Malik Lee, and just gave him a little bit of a juke to make that 2-point conversion. Watch this. It's a one-on-one play right there. Lee just couldn't wrap him up.
Ooh, he almost lost the ball. Yeah. Thompson almost lost the football on there, but he got
good hands. He does. And we were impressed with him last week against Boston Latin with his running ability.
That's right.
Didn't have to throw the ball much, that's how it is. But when you can run that well, teams that literally don't know how to play you. They really don't want to have a full-out rush on you because you can make one play and get out to the side and get big yards on with your legs. Meanwhile, you got all those backs behind them. You don't know which one of those 5 guys are going to come at you.
That's right.
It's tough sledding playing this East Boston offense.
Yeah, a very creative run offense with so many different weapons. That was an 8-play, 26-yard touchdown drive for the East Boston Jets after they recover the fumble on the kickoff. 2 minutes and 42 seconds off the clock on that drive. First and foremost, Brighton's got to recover this one. They do cleanly. Looks like Corbin again on the return.
As forward progress is stopped around the 38, 39-yard line.
Short return there for Corbin, but he makes his way up to about the 39-yard line. So that's where the Bengals will set up shop for their next possession.
They got some work to do. But like you said before, this offense from Coach Abraham, for the time he's been around, very explosive.
We'll see what the Bengals can come up with. The Jets have been penetrating the backfield for Brighton for most of the night. They have 3 sacks so far. You know Brighton's going to go to the air at least a little bit here in the second half.
Or at least mix it up some. I mean, you're still talking about 9 minutes to go in the third quarter, so you don't have to abandon your running game. But at the same time, you want to get some big chunk plays.
They pitch it to Green over the left side. Jathan Green with a seam, trying to get down the sideline, and then he's wrapped up inside the 45, down to about the 43.
Good run. Green, we talked about Green in the open, and he put on a little bit of a spurt once he saw he was close to the sideline. Watch him here. He keeps the ball on the outside arm like he's supposed to. And he actually delivered that hit.
I think they marked him out at the 45.
They play like that.
They gave it to him at the 43, excuse me.
Play like that is just as good as a pass.
No question. Green, one of the more explosive players on the team. I think they're going to try to get him the football in this second half. Now on first down.
Fumble the football.
Brighton fumble the football, and the Jets recover in the backfield.
They're trying for a reverse. And, well, I'm looking out the lights now. There's a little bit of mist. It just started, so that football pre-snap might have been a little it was supposed to be a pitch. And the worst thing can happen for Brighton. I mean, this is not the time to be having bad execution on your offense. I mean, the running back actually knocked the ball out of his hand. So everything's timing. We always talk about timing and spacing. That's perfect example of it.
So now the Bengals really have to rely on their defense to come up with a stop here.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Trailing by 16 here with 8:21 left to go in the third quarter. Jets, they give it to Bermudez, who's got a seam.
One
now
man to
finds
beat.
the outside edge. Bermudez towards the end zone. Touchdown, East Boston. Oh, they mark him down at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
I thought he got in. It looked like he got in. I thought he got the ball to the end zone. We'll take another look at it here.
Once he breaks the line of scrimmage, Pat, he puts his foot in the ground and hits that sideline. The safety is the last guy to have a chance at him. Good defensive effort, but the speed of Bermudez gets him all the way down inside the 5 yard line. I think his knee was down, actually. Yeah.
So they do mark Bermudez down at the 1.
Yeah, Brighton's taking the time out. I mean, this is, let's watch it again. You can see, like you were talking about his speed. We have simple play, breaks it wide open. Safety right there, 25. He's the last guy with a chance. Uses his speed to run him down, but see if that knee, yeah, see the knee went there. The knee went down before he got the pylon.
Our sideline reporter, Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, has an update. Jesse.
Pat, I'm getting injury deja vu here. We saw in the first half East Boston linebacker Christian Martinez suffer a left ankle injury, and now it's on the flip side. Brighton linebacker Michael Mendendez, we saw him down on the field for a little while. He's been helped off the field. He's got his left ankle iced up now, and just like East Boston probably hopes for Martinez to come back as soon as possible, same thing for Brighton and Mendendez. He's been a big part of their defense. He's been everywhere, and they certainly hope he's okay. Pat, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for that update. And yeah, absolutely. Now we have a linebacker, one of the better linebackers on each team, out with what appear to be ankle injuries. And Mendendez didn't seem like he was coming back at all. Christian Martinez maybe was trying to walk it off for Eastie. We'll see if he's able to get back in the game. Big run there for Bermudez. He now has 8 carries at 115 yards on the night. Jets looking to cap this drive off with a touchdown. The handoff to Bermudez through the offensive line. Touchdown, East Boston.
That makes sense. He deserved it. He got them all the way down there.
Another impressive drive here for the Jets. After the big 50-yard run for Bermudez, he caps it off with a touchdown.
I guess he really likes that number 5, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, he played pretty well last week with 20, so he'll have his choice next week, I guess.
No, I think he'll keep 5.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I think there's no doubt about that. He'll keep that number 5.
Well, that wasn't a prototypical East Boston drive. They only ate up 36 seconds on the clock, but I think they'll take it with the score.
Well, when the play opens wide open like that, you take advantage of it.
Jets now in the 2-point conversion. It's Kincaid trying to plow forward, and he got in for the touchdown.
With him.
Or for the 2-pointer, excuse me.
Yep. Wow. 2 bad turnovers in the first, 5 minutes of the second half for Brighton that put them in a really deep hole.
Yeah, they're now down 3 scores here in the third quarter. And also East Boston's been converting their 2-point conversions.
We've seen it over the different seasons how important those 2-point conversions are, because in this case right here, perfect example. They've made them, like you said, if they miss 2 or 3 of them, then it's a 2-score game instead of what it is now.
You see a good shot of Mendendez there, icing his ankle. He's not coming back in. That's too bad. He had a real nice first half defensively. Yeah. So Mendendez will have to
early in the season,
Yeah, I'm sure. With if that's a sprained ankle, it could be a couple weeks type of thing. And you never really know until the next day with a sprained ankle either.
And in this case, the situation is that they wouldn't, even if he could come back or was iffy, you wouldn't need him right now. And you're up 24 points. So hopefully the East Boston player Haven't seen him come back.
You see Joseph field it right around the 34-yard line. Isaiah Joseph trying to make his way up close to the 45. I think he was brought down at the 44.
Now, what we've seen from Brighton's pass offense, quarterback always rolls out before he throws it. We might go back to a more basic, either a shotgun or a simple drop back, because it appears that the East Boston front is able to run the quarterback down and put some pressure on him. Like the play that Brighton almost had a touchdown, he was forced to throw the ball on his back foot a little off balance. Otherwise, like you said, the receiver was open. He had gotten behind the safety, but the ball just was thrown short.
It does seem like on some of these plays, they keep rolling Morales out. I mean, he's 6'3", and it seems like he's almost running into pressure. Do you think Brighton can just drop straight back?
That's why I think we may see some more of that.
So Morales again rolling to his right. Trying to loft that one in. He does nicely. I believe that was Jathan Green again. Or was that? No, that was Ortiz with the catch. Close to the first down mark. I think he's about a yard or two short.
I mean, the advantage that they have with that rollout is it's still sort of an option play, that if he sees some open field, he can also use his running skills. Nice pass, lofted that one. A real sense of urgency here for Brighton, being down 24 points.
They gave the Bengals the first down at the 47-yard line of East Boston. They pitch it over the left side to Green, and he is wrapped up in the backfield. That was Pedronio coming across to make the tackle. He was the one who recovered the fumble on the last defensive possession for East Boston.
He's really had a second half, huh? I mean, you recover a fumble that leads to a touchdown. Now you make a big tackle for loss, one-on-one situation.
You see Pedronio wrapping up Jathan Green. Anthony Plagenza also coming across to make the tackle. Second down and about 16. You make that 17 for Brighton. Now it's Morales on the quarterback keeper, and he couldn't find any open space.
I'll tell you, unlike the first drive in the first quarter by Brighton, their offensive line is just getting beat off the snap.
I'm sorry, that was Joseph off the pitch.
Yeah, they try to pitch from behind. It's almost like I think the coaches for Brighton are figuring that the East Boston team is looking for passes. So they're going to try to sneak a couple of runs in there. But like I said, at this point, I don't know if it's emotion or just momentum, whatever, but clearly the East Boston defensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Frazier and Escobar came across to make that play. Third and almost 20 now for Brighton. Morales. He's got a receiver right around the 44-yard line. That was Ortiz coming up with the catch.
Well, the decision is it close enough to go for it on fourth down?
I think you gotta go for it on fourth down here. I think, especially with the way East Boston
I was just going to
plays.
say a couple things at play is the fact you haven't stopped East Boston this whole half, and you got to make up this big deficit.
Under 5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Here's another look at Morales' completion.
Yeah, he's able to get out to the side, and that's a tough throw to make while you're running to your left and throw it back to your right.
Fourth and long now for Brighton.
Oh, the play was open.
Joseph couldn't keep his footing.
Wow.
Oh,
and
that could have been a touchdown.
It was that open. You're absolutely right, because they had a opposite screen pass called. Really nice call. But unfortunately, some lost footing, and the ball was a little underthrown too. But that was set up perfectly.
So East Boston takes over at their own, looks like about their own 43-yard line.
We still got 4:38 to go in the third quarter, but I believe me, I think if we asked Brighton head coach what's your most frustrating quarter, this might be it.
Oh, no question.
2 turnovers to turn into 16 points. Can't recover a kickoff. You fumble from scrimmage and give them another touchdown.
And then that slip on that screen
right,
pass.
slip on the screen pass, which
on the offense.
It definitely would have gone for the first down. Like you said, it might have gone for the touchdown because they had it perfectly set up. They were just taking advantage of the aggressive. Yeah,
it was like the whole offensive line.
Well, yeah, the center was a little off. It was like a fake snap, right?
We've seen that a few times. We've seen that in the NFL, where everybody's on the same page except the center.
Except for the center. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world. You're ready to snap the ball, then you forgot the snap count.
Right.
One of the few things they've done wrong, though, because this East Boston offense, the second half, has been rolling.
1st and 15 now for the Jets. They hand off to Kincaid. Kincaid off tackle. Makes his way up to the 46-yard line.
Again, with him, it doesn't look like much, but before you know it, he got 7 or 8 yards.
For a big guy, he's got some nifty feet, this Kincaid.
He does. It's like I said, his size is obvious, but his little, like you said, those little quick moves he makes, and he always seems to end up going forward no matter what angle he's being tackled.
Jets now on 2nd down and about 11. And a nice run here from Bermudez as he picks up a 1st down for the Jets at the Brighton 43-yard line.
Again, Bermudez, little misdirection. Runs.
Excuse me, Dela Cruz, my apologies.
Runs through one tackle and then gets into the secondary. Jets have been doing it all night.
Boy, if East Boston can get this clock all the way down to the end of the 3rd quarter, they don't even have to score a touchdown.
Exactly. It'll be really demoralizing for Brighton.
Now on 1st down from the 43, the handoff to Bermudez. Bermudez over the right side. Gets to the 25-yard line after being brought down.
Blacknell, last man again. He was the last chance for Brighton to stop that from being a touchdown. Watch the right of your screen. You'll see number 7 come into play right there. He's the last guy. There's nobody else. Yeah, Blacknell's like the free safety. So
just in this 3rd quarter alone, Bermudez has 81 rushing yards. Of course, aided by that 50-yarder, but another nice run there for Randy. And now the Jets with the 1st down at the Brighton 25-yard line. Hand out to Pedronio. And this time the Bengals are able to sniff it out.
Did he fumble?
He fumbled the football.
Okay.
He fumbled the football. This could be the spark that Brighton needs.
Well, in 2 different ways. I mean, first, obviously, you stop the Jets from scoring, but you get the ball. You still got 2:29 to go before the 3rd quarter's over. Watch the end of this play. Pedronio has played so well so far. Yeah, he actually was stripped. He was ripped away from him.
So Pedronio recovered a fumble earlier in the quarter, now coughs up the football here late in the 3rd. 2:29 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Brighton now with the football at their own 25-yard line.
Now more of our mist coming tonight.
Yeah, a lot more now than there was a little bit earlier. On 1st down, they pitch it to Green. Jathan Green somehow picks up a couple of yards. Should have been brought down in the backfield.
He made something out of nothing on that one. Like you said, he was grabbed at the line of scrimmage, but able to move forward. Pedronio finally with the tackle.
Yeah, Sean Curtis almost had him in the backfield. And now Brighton calls a timeout. 2:05 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. And you got to think Brighton's got to score on this possession.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And I think that the coach might be telling them that right now. It's right now or we're out of this game. So, I mean, he's put in the plays that can break open. Like that last screen, that's gonna be a nightmare. So the quarterback that's gonna be a nightmare because just like you said, we have the angle we could see. It was a misdirection. You had the quarterback rolling right.
That's right.
Okay, the entire defense is going after him. The back snuck over to the left side. He had two blockers, two offensive linemen in front of him. All they had to do was complete the pass. The running back slips down, and the quarterback threw it a little short. And it's a 4th down play. Right. So you lose the ball.
Yeah, it was set up well, but
perfect
just
call.
Couldn't quite get there. I know, like we were saying, too, it's a little misty, but, it seemed like Joseph just slipped. And
he definitely slipped.
He might get home and just throw out his cleats and get some new ones because he's saying, never again will I wear cleats like that.
That was, you're right. That's what's so frustrating about football a lot of the times.
It could be one little thing. If you think about it, if he scored that touchdown,
it's a whole different game now.
A completely different game, completely different 4th quarter. 2nd and 8 now for the Brighton Bengals. 2:05 left to go here in the 3rd. Bengals trailing by 24. Morales rolling to his right. Got some room to run. He does.
Room, yeah.
Morales past the 35 up to the 37.
I think that one was a designed run because he never really lifted the ball. But like you said, wide side of the field. Good athlete. So he's looking downfield, but at the same time, he's watching the yardage. Before he gets to the sideline, he wants to make something and gets a 1st down. Both quarterbacks, good running skills.
Clock continues to wind down. We're getting down to about 1:40 left to go here in the 3rd. Early movement. And they pitch it over to Green. Jathan Green. Picks up a couple there on 1st down. Might have gained 3 on the play up to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, it's one of those things for Brighton. The players are all so anxious. Like they're thinking, let's score before the end of the quarter. See on the replay, again, good running by Green. Petronio in there again.
Yeah, picked up about 4 on the play. So it'll be 2nd down and 6 now for the Bengals. Morales again rolling to the right. Looking for an opening. Ball was deflected and hits the turf. So incomplete pass there for Brighton. Clock should stop. It's continuing to run here at the stadium. They should stop the clock right now.
I think
clock's still running. They got to stop that clock. Hopefully the ref is.
Yeah,
the clock's running.
Yeah, it stopped at 39 seconds. They lost about 10 seconds. Let's see if the officials can get that straightened out. Seems like none of them noticed it because it was running, like you said, for about a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I think you're right. About 49 seconds rather than 39 seconds. And if you're a team like Brighton who's got to score a lot, every second counts.
Every second. There's no doubt about that.
3rd and 6 now for the Bengals. Morales looking down the left side, looking for Ortiz. Did he come down with it? He did not. But they're going to call pass interference on the East Boston Jets.
And the interference was there because Ortiz made an excellent effort to get the ball. He was
no question
sandwiched between 2 defensive backs, but because he made the effort to go up, one of them grabbed him. Watch Ortiz. He's in the middle of 2 guys. Yeah, he got grabbed. Yeah, got his jersey pulled. And he almost caught it anyway.
Hard to believe he's a freshman. He's made some really nice plays tonight and is showing off.
Defensive pass interference on the defense.
Go.
So 15 yards. Result of plays, 1st down.
All right, so after the 15-yard penalty, we have a 1st down for Brighton. Got to reset the sticks, the yard sticks for.
That'll be a 15-yard penalty. And Brighton will now have the football right around the 36. Yeah, once they spot the ball, then they'll move the chains. Hopefully.
Well, earlier,
what are these referees? I mean,
earlier we were told
this is their job. I mean, they gotta move the chains.
There was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the line judge or the head linesman, depending on which side of the field you're on, is. They're still figuring out to mark it off. Right, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure that out. They go to sticks now. Yeah.
Now they're moving them back. I mean, this is.
Well, what ended up happening was they initially walked it off from the point of the foul, which was wrong because it's a 15-yard penalty. You have to go back to the line of scrimmage and give Brighton the 15 yards. So a little confusion with our officials crew, but they got it straightened out now. And that was also the first time that we saw the quarterback for Brighton got dropped straight back without a rollout. And like you said, he's 6'3", so it seemed to me like he would prefer that because he can see over everybody.
Now from the East Boston 44, they pitched to Blackwell over the right side. His first carry of the night. Blackwell trying to find some space. Blackwell actually had a long touchdown run last week against O'Brien, so Bengals now looking for a little bit of a spark.
We've seen this be on the defensive end. I mean, he ran down 2 players who looked like they were on their way to touchdowns. So he definitely has speed, but okay, this should end the third quarter.
And that is going to do it for the end of the third quarter here at Daly Field in Brighton. East Boston Jets capitalizing on turnovers thanks to that young man, Randy Bermudez, with a big 50-yard run, who's able to cap the run off with a 1-yard touchdown plunge right after this play. East Boston on top, 32-8. Make sure you stick around, folks. We've got the fourth quarter coming right back. Welcome back to Daly Field in Brighton for a matchup of two 1-0 Boston North teams between the East Boston Jets and the Brighton Bengals. Jets on top 32-8. Folks, next week we're going to be heading over to White Stadium for a matchup between two exam schools as the Latin Academy Dragons take on the Boston Latin Wolfpack. That's on next Friday, September 24th at 7 p.m. over at White Stadium in Jamaica Plain. You can watch that live on Boston City TV. You can also watch it live as we set up a YouTube link throughout the week. So make sure you go to our social media pages, and that'll tweet out, or you can go to Facebook and see the YouTube link as well if you want to watch it live there.
We've seen Latin already, and they're a pretty complete team.
Second down and 4 now for the Bengals. Morales rolling to his left, escapes pressure. Morales chucking it downfield, looking for a receiver. And Ortiz is looking for another flag that time. He did get hit.
That time it was
probably an uncatchable ball.
Yeah, both players going for the ball, plus it was overthrown.
Surprised Morales was able to escape the pressure that time. He was getting chased down by a couple of
players. He has some running skills. I think if it wasn't for this big deficit, we might be seeing him run a little more often.
Yeah, Pedronio again looking for the sack.
Yeah, that was overthrown. Third and 4. First things first, need the first down for Brighton. Keep this drive going. Well, they're going to go for it on fourth down anyway, but it's a lot better if you can get it on the third down. East Boston's front four still putting pressure on Brighton quarterback.
3rd and 3 now for Brighton. Green, the man in motion. They hand it off up the middle.
Close to the first down. Let's see what they mark it.
I think it was Isaiah Joseph with the carry on that play. It was. They mark him down at the 35, so he's about a yard short. 4th and 1 now for the Brighton Bengals. And then the Bengals.
The ball came out.
They fumbled the football.
Yeah, ball came out. And unfortunately for the Bengals, when it came out, it went backwards.
Right, so it's 4th down. They lose the football either way. So whether they call that a fumble recovery or...
Oh, he lost. Yes, without his hands.
Yeah, it was on the snap.
You talk about a half you want to forget. My God. Let's think back to, it wasn't that long ago. It was 8-8.
That's right.
And here we are, 32
just before
days.
Just before halftime. So the Jets take over on downs, or if you want to call it a fumble recovery, you can call it that too. Either way, East Boston takes over at their own 35-yard line with 10:40 left to go here in the 4th quarter. The Jets on top 32-8 over the Brighton Bengals. They give it to Bermudez over the right side. He's been outstanding all night long, and Bermudez picks up another first down for the Jets as he makes his way up to about the 42-yard line.
There's got to be some story.
41.
Has to be a story behind this number 5.
Yeah, it's got
to be. I mean, like you said, he had a good game last week.
That's right.
We did him last week, making the similar plays. I mean, he's doing a lot more this week, but still, 145 yards already. We'll just do 3 quarters.
Yeah, he's still got 10 minutes left to tack on to that 145 yards.
Well, I think at some point he'll get pulled out of the game and have some backup players in, but you're right. It's been an amazing game for him.
Hand out to Kincaid now, and Jay Kincaid scampers up to the 47 of Brighton.
What were we were mistakenly calling him for the first half? Jai or something?
Jai. Because it's spelled J-A-Y-E.
Right. Well, believe me,
you just got to accentuate the A.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Brought his father and grandfather down to see us.
Said, hey, fellas, it's actually just Jay. 12 rushes and 76 yards for the big fella. 2nd down and 2 now for East Boston. And just a short gain that time for Bermudez.
Yeah, one of the few times he's been held to a short gain. Actually, looks like he got tackled at the ankles and just dove for a couple of yards. They're really frustrating at all levels for Brighton at this point. They sideline the coaches are seeing defense just get beat up front. Offensively, you can't take care of the football. There's a fumble. That'll be a procedure penalty. But even a play like that, or you have a situation where it was a possible turnover.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
A flag's thrown. East Boston keeps possession. They lose 5 yards, but they keep possession. You mentioned earlier, Pat, that the Globe had looked at this game as one of the big
games to watch tonight. One of the top 10 games to watch in the Eastern Mass tonight.
And in the first quarter, it looked just like that.
That's right.
Really good offense, really good timing, Both teams scored touchdowns and two-point conversions, 8-8. But then once East Boston took that lead, it's been all downhill. Yeah, more motion. I'm wondering if they have some backup players in already, because that's their second motion penalty in a row.
Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down. Yeah.
Yeah, now the mist is turning into like a light rain, so the ball is going to continue to be wet and slippery.
It'll be slick.
Yeah.
Hand out to Bermudez again. Randy Bermudez. Up to the Brighton 48.
Simple handoff. And because they've run so well, mainly with Bermudez, they haven't even had to have a punt this game.
That's right.
That's usually indicative of being in full control.
4th and 4 now for the Jets. Thompson looking to throw. He does. Down the sideline and in for a touchdown for the East Boston Jets is Michael O'Neal. So Taylor Thompson connecting with O'Neal for a 44-yard connection. And East Boston
piling it on. Well, I mean, a simple pass look going for a first down, but it's so wide open that O'Neal showed some good speed.
And a couple of players on the Bengals try to just push him out.
Yeah, it looked like Blacknell actually had him on the angle, but right, the arm tackles aren't going to work. So now I never would have expected this on either side.
Nor would have I. Especially for, with Brighton, they had a huge win last week on the road against O'Brien, coming home for their first home game of the season.
With a full team for
a
very long time. First time in a very long time.
Looking for revenge against this East Boston team who beat them in the Fall 2 season. As East Boston, I believe for the first time tonight, was not able to convert the two-point conversion.
We got a late flag. Okay, we got the referee saying run the clock. This is going to be one of those situations where we may not see a clock stoppage.
That's right.
The rest of the way. This last 8 was 6:23. You got a penalty. Yeah, see you got one of the linemen trying to stop the clock like he's supposed to, but the referee in the white hat just said, run it, keep running it. But they've got to sort out this penalty. I think with the dealing with now, you have 2 officials talking to the Brighton kids. I think you have a bunch of Brighton frustrated kids, angry, embarrassed.
It's going to be half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, you got a penalty on a. They stopped the 2-point conversion, but now you have a penalty.
They finally make a defensive play.
That's going to give them another shot. I mean, football is so physical that it makes it so emotional.
That's right.
And so when things really go lopsided like this, as it has for Brighton, it's almost tough to control your anger, no matter how much you want to do what you're supposed to do in this play. It just gets very, very ugly, and this is what we're seeing now. All these penalties.
Yeah, players lose focus when the emotion gets involved like that.
And that's in all sports. But like I said, in football, because it's so physical, it's even exaggerated more.
It looked like East Boston did not get that 2-point conversion in.
Not sure what.
But what are they lining up for again? Okay, was that a penalty?
No, I think it might have been spotted incorrectly because they're going to give him another chance.
So here we go. The Jets trying for the 2-point conversion here after the touchdown. And do they get it? Tough to see.
Yes. No,
they don't.
The official threw us off on that one.
That's
Put his
right.
arms up, then waved him
I don't think
down.
he knew for a hot second either.
Well, yeah. The scoreboard guy got fooled just like we did. They put the 40 up there.
We'll see if we can get a correction on that two-point conversion. Either way, the Jets are up by 30-plus points here in the fourth quarter.
Well, they've earned it. I'll tell you that. I mean, you talk about teams, his coaches always like to refer to take advantage of any opportunity. That's exactly what we've seen with these Jets today. I'm thinking that it's like every turnover that Brighton had turned into points for the Jets.
That's right.
And you can't get any better than that.
So we'll see if we can get a correction on, or at least get an update on if that two-point conversion was converted. Scoreboard here at the field says 40, but we didn't think that they actually scored the two-point conversion.
Well, initially, the lineman on our side did put his arms up, but then he brought him down and said no good. So maybe the scorekeeper didn't see him bring his arms down because the 40 is up there.
So a squib kick there for Eastie, and now Brighton just pounces on.
Wow, it's going to be. Oh. Well, East Boston will be the team going 2-0 and looking forward to the rest of the season. I mean, they've got to be happy that they can come into a game with a game plan and pretty much execute it almost to perfection. I mean, they did have a couple of turnovers themselves, but beyond that, they want to run, want to stay away from having to pass. That's exactly what they did.
We mentioned in the first half how East Boston, even though only up by a touchdown, seemed to be doing exactly what they wanted to do throughout that first half.
You definitely felt like
we definitely got that in the second half.
They were more in control, no doubt about that. You're right. Even when it was 16-8, it was still a one-score game. But it was just like East Boston's defense sort of came alive, and right now Brighton's still been stuck on 8 since the first quarter. Very frustrating for Coach Abraham because he's used to having good offense, and this is not characteristic of his teams. Yeah, it's a 2nd and 5 thrown for a short loss. There's nothing going on in the front line for Brighton, and East Boston is just really.
Yeah, Gabriel Silva and Sean Curtis getting in there for the Jets.
Yeah, we mentioned Silva a few times in the game, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback for Brighton. And Morales has been chased all night.
Bengals pitches to the outside. That's Blackwell again showing off the speed. Blackwell still on his feet, and he gets wrapped up on the sideline right around the 37.
Well, you had said earlier in the game, Blackwell definitely has speed.
That's right.
He had a long touchdown last week. And
82-yard touchdown run last week against O'Brien.
He's been playing both ways, obviously, but playing safety. Good effort.
Pitch to Blackwell again. And Blackwell
short game this time.
Gets wrapped up this time. We did get confirmation that that two-point conversion was converted, so the 40 points for the Jets is correct.
Correct.
Under 4 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter now at Daly Field. East Boston is going to go home with a very impressive win tonight over the Brighton Bengals.
It's not that long a ride, but it'll be a fun ride.
That's right.
For sure.
Pitch to Blackwell again. Blackwell earning some tough yards inside the 30, down to the 27. And Blackwell's slow to get up there.
Damian is. He got sandwiched.
Way he's running right now, though, he might be earning some more playing time for next week.
Definitely. Because I mean, he's the safety anyway on defense.
That's right.
So that's his main job right now. But I think you're right.
And
Fumble.
Morales again drops football, picks it up. It's actually a nice play by Morales. You know, sometimes quarterbacks drop it, and then they try to either hand it off or panic. He did a nice job picking up a couple of yards, lived to see another day.
Well, he knew he only needed short yardage for a first down. So even though the original play that was called is dead, you're right. You're smart enough to use that 6'3" frame of his to get the first down. I mean, Brighton just wants to score at this point. They all know in their heads we were stuck on 8 since the first quarter.
.237 left to go here in the fourth. They pitch it to Blackwell again. Blackwell with a bounce to the outside and rumbles down to the 14-yard. Let's make that the 15-yard line.
Close to a first down.
It's about a yard and a half short of the first down. So a nice pickup there.
You're right. He's running really well. Coming into the game, we knew that Green and Joseph was two are like their main guys, but well, something to look forward to for Brighton the rest of the season in terms of their offense. I mean, he's like I said, he's the free safety on defense, which is a really important position.
No question. Now on 2nd down and 2, Morales looking to throw. He's got Blackwell and couldn't hang on to the football. Ortiz also in the area, so they might have had. Somebody might have ran the wrong route there with 2 receivers in the same spot.
Yeah,
here's another look at it. Oh, yeah, they were both right in the same. Somebody ran the wrong route there.
That's a killer for your quarterback because he has to know what to do. He's already 7-8 yards deep, so he's not going to try to run. They definitely want to try to score, so you mentioned lose focus. You're right. Guys running patterns, even if they're on the same side, there's no way you're supposed to be that close.
That's right. And sometimes it's the younger guys just trying to make a play too, but you forget that your pattern affects another receiver's pattern.
Most definitely.
The quarterback's vision, and then everything gets scrambled.
Falls apart.
That's right.
Really, you're lucky it didn't get picked off. Because
that's right.
That means you have more defenders in the same area.
Well, I think Brighton, certainly not a good loss here tonight, but I think they do have the talent and certainly have a very good head coach. I think they're going to win a lot of football games this year. Sometimes you just look at a game like this and you're like, this just wasn't our night with the way that they couldn't recover the kicks.
Right.
The Joseph slipped on that screen pass that looked like it was going to go for big yardage. They've had a couple of bounces that just kind of didn't go their way, and all of a sudden you're losing by 32. Morales rolling out, going to take it himself. Stays in bounds and gets knocked out at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, these guys are still yapping at each other.
Bengals now with the 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. I think you're right, Alan. They just want to put one in the end zone.
Yeah, definitely.
Haven't scored since that first possession. So.
And now these backup guys for East Boston want to prevent the touchdown.
That's right.
So These guys are still out there.
Competitive till the end.
Jarring at each other.
Blackwell again, the man in motion. They pitch it to Blackwell over the left side. Blackwell looking for the end zone. Does he get in? I think he got in. And they do give him a touchdown.
Right.
So Blackwell running hard that whole drive. Caps it off with a touchdown for the Bengals.
The wide pitch gives him a lot of room. Nice little cut right there, and just going to lower his shoulder and get 6 points.
Bengals now looking for the 2-point conversion here with 1:17 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Talk about the ride home, Pat, for East Boston. They'll be looking at the schedule.
It's the handoff to Joseph up the middle, and he gets in for the 2-pointer.
Yeah. For East Boston, they'll be playing Tech Boston next week out at East Boston Stadium. That could be a good game. And they have
Chelsea the following week.
Right.
And then at Boston English, which is always a good matchup with former East Boston coach Ryan Conway, the head coach at Boston English for the last few years. But this Boston North, I mean, you've got, these two teams we expected coming into the season to be contenders in the Boston North. Latin Academy is going to be good again this year. They won last week at Georgetown, so they'll be a team to look out for throughout the rest of the season as well.
I think at this point, O'Brien's the only team really struggling. They were beaten last week, and they're getting beaten by Latin earlier tonight.
So Brighton next week will host Randolph here at Daly Field, and they head to at Minuteman, and then they visit Latin Academy at White Stadium. There you see Bermudez fields it right around the 15-yard line. Surprised he's still in right now, but
I think he might have just been in to
just
have
to
the good
field the
hands
kick.
just to field the kick.
Right.
Yeah, I think at this point we'll see some other running backs. But no, actually he is staying in. I am surprised at that.
I know we have Bermudez for well over 150 yards tonight.
Oh, he's had a game. Oh goodness. When you think about the kind of game you want to have and imagine, well, if I can get this and get that, and guys, can block for me, and this all come true for number 5 tonight.
As we mentioned last week, over 100 yards on the ground. This week, well over 150. So we'll see if the Jets just go with the victory formation. They do.
Yeah, there's no need to even run any plays. That's why you keep the regular guys in. They can, quarterback can handle the ball, and he has the backup of his running backs behind him.
Yeah, especially with the miss, you don't want a backup quarterback in there messing around too much.
Well, even though it wasn't what we expected, you got to give a lot of credit to that East Boston team on both sides of the ball, because at one point the offense took over, at other points of the game the defense took over. I mean, you talk about this last minute touchdown by Brighton. Otherwise, they were held to 8 for most of the game. That should do it, because we're under 20 seconds.
We've talked a lot about the Jets running backs, but their offensive line played really well again tonight. Yeah. Saw them play well against Boston Latin last week. And once again this week, the East Boston Jets pick up their second win of the season. They defeat the Brighton Bengals here on the road 40-16. And as we mentioned in the first half there, Alan, we thought this was going to be a back and forth, see who has the ball last twice a game, especially with those first two drives.
Well, and you're right. I know I said that because it was impressive how both teams had those drives. I mean, the East Boston team got the ball first. The drive was about between 5 and 6 minutes, 8-0. Brighton comes right back with a 3 or 4 minute drive, 8-8. But then somehow the game just turned. Once East Boston, they seemed to start playing a different type of defense earlier than Brighton did. And once East Boston got a stop, got the ball back, took the 16-8 lead, then things just, matter of fact, you mentioned it when it was 16-8. You said, well, you know, if Brighton doesn't keep up and gives East Boston the ball back and there's another score, this could be over early.
Sure.
And we didn't know it then, but that's exactly what happened. It gave them full control of the game, not just on the scoreboard.
No question. The East Boston Jets controlled this one for most of the game here at Daly Field on the road. They defeat the Brighton Bengals 40-16. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our Game of the Week MVP, our game-winning coach, and our final stats here from Daly Field in Brighton right after these messages. Don't go away.
The vaccine has helped me and has given me some sort of confidence into being back in public. Ahora puedo decir que me siento feliz de haberme vacunado. No me dolió, si eso es alguno de sus preguntas, y tampoco tuve un efecto secundario muy fuerte, nada más fue sueño. En verdad les recomiendo a todos los estudiantes que se vacunen. Es algo seguro y es algo que nos ayudará a retornar al mundo que alguna vez conocimos. So to all the students, I really recommend y'all to get vaccinated. It is something safe, and it is something that is going to help us return to the world we once knew. Thank you.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe. Here we go, the butterfly.
Ready?
Ooh.
I am what hunger looks like in America. I am an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for the last day of school. Because this may be the last time I'll have lunch. Till September. I am a single father of 2 who works 3 part-time jobs. And that's still not enough to put food on the table. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Daly Field. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the East Boston Jets defeated the Brighton Bengals 40-16. And Alan, we came in talking about the backfield for the East Boston Jets. We knew Kincaid, De La Cruz, Bermudez, Pedronio, all those guys were going to get carries, but we put a spotlight on Bermudez because of the way he ran last week. He ran for over 100 yards. He even toppled that total today. He is our player of the game, outstanding game for Randy Bermudez.
Most definitely. I mean, he was inside, outside, showed his speed, showed his strength and power, and like you said, in the high school game, getting over 150 yards, that's a big deal.
No question. Randy Bermudez is our player of the game, and he is with our sideline reporter, Jesse Sheehan. Jesse?
Pat, I am here with tonight's player of the game, and for the second week in a row, it is an East Boston running back. This week, it is number 5, Randy Bermudez, 14 carries, 156 yards, and 1 touchdown. Randy, what was the key for you guys tonight?
My line, my offense, my coaches,
Just the complete package, all 3 phases. This is the second week we've had a running back come in with his offensive line behind him. How much credit do you give these guys for the success that you guys have had out of the backfield through these first 2 weeks?
a lot of credit.
And you talked about the defense and all the other phases. Special teams and defense got you guys some short fields. How much easier did that make your job tonight? How much easier was it to go down and score because they gave you a shorter field to work with all those turnovers?
The fumbles, you know, we got the recoveries. Daniel got a recovery. What else? You know, all the safeties blocking down, you know. We almost got into interceptions, and yeah.
You're defending champs, and now you're here.
Tech, Boston Tech.
Up to me. Randy, congrats on the win. Congrats. All of you. All right. Now we move on to head coach John Parziali. John, we talked about you before the game. We talked about special teams and how you don't want to make mistakes because that can really set you back. You sound like a prophet after that, because for Brighton, those special teams gaffes really ended up giving you guys a good opportunity to start to pull away late in the first half and then early in the second.
Yeah, I think it's important, the special teams. I mean, we had a short punt by them too, put us in good field position. You know, the fumbles. I mean, anytime you can win the turnover game, you can usually win the football game, especially in high school football. Again, Brighton's got some talented players over there, and you know, they could score at the drop of a dime, and we just were lucky tonight in the sense that we jumped on them early and sort of got them out of what they wanted to do, I think. But you know, again, they're well coached, good kids, good team, and we have a long season left. We got 10 or 9 more games, whatever we have left, and it's one at a time, and we just got to keep building off this. But we go back to the drawing board. Make sure we're ready to play next week, and hopefully we'll have a JV game on Monday, because the buses didn't show up for our kids last week and it was a shame. So I want the city to know we need to fix the buses, because our children need the buses to go to these games, and the politicians, whoever else is in charge, needs to let these kids play football, and we need buses all the time.
Well, you guys have been playing football at the varsity level. You've been playing very well. And this running attack is our second week in a row where we got a different running back from you guys. You really are able to bring it in so many different directions. You know, Kincaid, the hard hitting, Bermuda's the speed, De La Cruz, all of them. How special is it to have a back like this and to be able to have a program like this? You graduate your 2 top backs from last year and you come back and you've still got all this.
Yeah, I mean, the kids worked hard. We put a lot of time in the summer. August 20th it started. And obviously it goes back to the O-line. I mean, they were huge tonight, and the tight end, and even the split ends blocking like crazy. You know, and our fakes too help out a lot. But yeah, it's nice to have this, but we've got to continue it. And again, like I said, it's a long season, and I think we've got to improve a little bit defensively. We gave up some big plays tonight, which, you know, it hurt us a little bit on the big plays, but overall, we're pleased with the night.
One last question for Randy. We're going to end on a light note. You were number 20 last week. You're number 5 this week. Why the change?
Oh man, number 5, like, I don't know, like, I always had number 5 when I played Pop Warner. So, you know, I was like, man, I want to make a change.
Well, it seems a lucky number so far. You had a great. You guys had a great on the win. Congrats, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go. Pat, back to you. Take us home.
Jesse, thanks so much. Obviously, a very happy East Boston team. Now 2-0 on the season with the big 40-16 win over Brighton tonight. And as always, the East Boston Jets bring their offensive line over when they have a player of the game interview with especially one of the running backs. But even if it was a quarterback, they would have had him up there as well.
Pancake platoon, right?
That's right, pancake platoon. I like the sound of that. We're going to take a look at the final stats here from Daly Field before we sign off. And first up, it's going to be the Brighton Bengals.
Yeah, Brighton 8-8 first quarter, like we talked about, but Morales ended up 5 for 12, 63 yards, and he did throw a touchdown pass. Excuse me. Blackwell rushing 753 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, Green with 39 yards, and then receiving, Green caught 2, including his touchdown for 17 yards. Meanwhile, Ortiz had a couple of 3 catches with 46 yards.
And now let's take a look at East Boston.
East Boston, they were all over the stat sheet. Thompson didn't have to throw much, never throws much, but one of his 2 completions were for a touchdown. So he did what he had to do. Bermudez, he go 14 carries, 156 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a couple of 2-point conversions. Kincaid, the big fellow, the big fullback, 76 yards, ground him out with 12 carries and a touchdown. Meanwhile, O'Neal caught that 1 pass for 44 yards down the sideline for his touchdown. Valencia caught 1 pass also. So East Boston, after the first quarter, they really got things going.
No question, and we saw them, you know, capitalize off a turnover. Sometimes you can get turnovers and you don't necessarily score touchdowns with them. You don't do anything with them. You saw the Jets do that here
Well,
tonight.
the Jets, it was almost like the turnovers energized them.
Right.
Because especially the one that was on the kickoff. Because everybody knows for the last however many years, they don't use a tee on their kickoffs. It's a squib, flat kick, and the ball's going to take crazy bounces. For some reason, Brighton mistimed it, misplayed it at the absolute wrong time of the game. They had just gone behind, and then you give the ball right back to East Boston after they just scored. So that proved to be fatal for Brighton.
No question. So a big win here tonight for East Boston. They're now 2-0 on the season. Folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Game of the Week. As we always say, if you want to watch this game again, you can certainly go to our website. Go to boston.gov/cable. Scroll to the bottom of the screen. Click on Game of the Week. You can kick it too if you'd like. And that'll route you to the video library. You can check out all the games from this season, from couple years ago, basketball games all up there. You can also go to Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Game of the Week Boston. We have all the links to all the games that we've covered, games we're going to be covering on the upcoming schedule, and also some different social media updates as well. And finally, you can follow us on Twitter @Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We'll be back at White Stadium for the first time in a long time next week. But for right now, I'm going to say so long here from Daly Field in Brighton. We'll see you next time on Game of the Week. Have a good night, everybody.